Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Wednesday, October 19th, 2022. Today, we are going to recap last night's ALDS Game 5 and NLCS Game 1. Look ahead to NLCS Game 2 and ALCS Game 1. The NBA opening night and look ahead to tonight's big NBA slate, NHL, college football. We need to talk Major League Soccer because we didn't get to that yesterday. Golf, Dancing with the Stars, Masked Singer, Survivor, News and Notes, and Best Bet. We'll start with the baseball playoffs. We have two results to go over, a series to pick, and two games to pick. So, Yankees over the Astros 5-1 as New York advances to their third ALCS in a 6-year span. As they win 5 games. Nestor Cortez to win, Aaron Savali to loss. Bottom the first, 3-run home run, Giancarlo Stanton, 3-0 Yankees. Bottom the second, Aaron Judge home run, 4-0 Yankees. Top of the third, sac fly, Jose Ramirez makes it 4-1 after a collision happened in the outfield with Aaron Hicks and Oswaldo Cabrera. And then bottom of the fifth, ribby single, Anthony Rizzo makes it a 5-1 game. And that was it among the scoring. Terry Francona, to me, should have started Shane Bieber. I'm not saying that the Guardians would have won because they only scored 1 run, but it was a bad decision. It would have been a closer game. There would have been more pressure on the Yankees and those pitchers. So I think Tito arguably made a worse decision than Aaron Boone did in Game 3 with not pitching Clay Holmes. So strange managing by Tito in this game, and then the missed call, the runner was safe as he beat Rizzo to the bag, and Tito didn't challenge that. So one of the worst managed games I've seen from Tito in a big spot, for sure. And then the NLCS Game 1, the Phillies over the Padres 2-0. As the Phils take a 1-0 series lead, Zach Wheeler to win, Yu Darvish to loss, and Jose Alvarado to save. Top of the fourth, Bryce Harper solo shot, 1-0 Phils. Top of the sixth, Kyle Schwarber solo shot, 2-0 Phils. Zach Wheeler was excellent. He went 7 strong. Arguably the best pitched game of the postseason other than his teammate Aaron Nola in Game 2 against the Cardinals. He was outstanding. And these two teams play yet again this afternoon, 4:30 on Fox. The game being on Fox might not bode well for the Masked Singer tonight. Let's hope it doesn't rain in San Diego. So, Fox gets this game. The Padres are minus 120. The Phillies are plus 102. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 124. Unders plus 102. Phillies minus 1.5 is plus 176. Padres plus 1.5 is minus 215. I think this is a bounce back spot for San Diego. But Nola's just been so brilliant this season. So for this game, I'm going to go under 6.5 at plus 102. Maybe bank on like a 2-1 Padres win, 3-1 or something like that. In the series, better be even at 2 for the Padres standpoint. And let's just get into the ALCS. It's the Yankees and the Astros. Third time in 6 years that these two teams meet in this spot. The only thing that's different is that TBS gets the series instead of Fox, who had it the previous 2 times with Buck and John Smoltz, and now this time it's going to be Brian Anderson, Ron Darling, and Jeff Francoeur on the series. It's surprising that Francoeur was in the lead booth with Brian Anderson, and Ron Darling was with Bob Costas. And now it's a 3-man booth for the for this series. All right, so offensively, I know the Yanks offense has shown signs of the first half of the season in this series here and there. but I still give the slight edge to Houston. Yordan Alvarez, Jose Altuve. I know Carlos Correa and George Springer aren't there anymore. But those two guys, and then you have Trey Mancini, who was added at the deadline. He knows the Yankees well from his days of playing with the Orioles. Jeremy Pena, the young shortstop's a good player. The catcher combination has really hurt the Yankees in terms of with their previous stops. The former Red Sox, Christian Vasquez, and then their other catcher, I believe, is Maldonado, but I could be wrong. Let's see. Who's been catching for Houston? Yeah, Maldonado. I was right. And then you have Alex Bregman. Who can forget him? Kyle Tucker's really good. So they really have a lot. And then the Yankees could have the edge in the series if they get some players back from injury. You could argue DJ LeMahieu and Andrew Benintendi, if those guys come back in the series, then the Yankees have the edge offensively. I gave the edge to Houston because of some of the injuries with the Yankee guys and defensive liabilities, which we'll get to, but that's not really comes into hitting here. So they have Judge, they have Stanton. Both guys homered in Game 5. Anthony Rizzo. Harrison Bader all of a sudden has been an unexpected source of offense for them. Gleyber Torres has gotten some big hits in the Guardians series. He's hit the Astros well at times too. Pitching. Houston gets the edge easily. Justin Verlander, Framber Valdez, Lance McCullers, Jose Urquidy over Garrett Cole, Nestor Cortez, Luis Severino, and J-Mo Tyon. But Cole, is going to want to pitch well in this series because it's his former team. And then bullpen. I still give the edge to Houston. I know I'm tipping my hand a little bit. And this is based on, I know the Yankees bullpen looked like it's rounding the form a little bit in that series against the Guardians, but Game 3 they really blew it. Although you could argue their defense hurt them more than their bullpen in Game 3 of the Guardian series. But Houston, they really have some excellent relievers who all were outstanding in the 18-inning game. And Luis Garcia is the long man out of the bullpen. He might start a game in the series instead of Jose Urquidy. Hector Neris, Rafael Montero, Ryan Presley, Brian Abreu, Ryan Stanek, the former Ray, and Hunter Brown. They're all really good relievers. And then on the York side, Clay Holmes looked like the Clay Holmes from the first half of the season in the Guardians series. You had Wandy Peralta, who's been closing games out for them, who's just been a nemesis. And Jonathan Weissiger, that's their big three right now. Lou Trevino can get big outs as well, but outside of those four, their bullpen is not very good. Clark Schmidt's the one that gave up the walk-off the other night, although he did pitch well in Game 2 of the Guardian series. And then the defense, Houston, the Yankee infield defense is terrible at times, especially when IKF's playing shortstop. And then Alex Bregman is so good. But the one liability Houston has defensively is Yuli Gurriel at first base. If he plays first base, he's not very good at first base. So that's my only issue with the Astros defense. And I think both catchers are decent defensive catchers as well. And then Dusty Baker gets the edge over Aaron Boone. I just don't think Aaron Boone is a great manager. Although he managed Game 5 pretty well yesterday. But I'm not the biggest Dusty Baker fan either. To me, he's the American League's version of Buck Showalter, where they really can't win the big one, which would be the World Series. And don't forget the Astros 2017 championship that some may say is tainted was A.J. Hinch, not Dusty Baker. But I still give Dusty the edge over Aaron Boone, although we've seen managers have an on-paper advantage lose, like Francona in the last round. Buck and Bob Melvin, to me, was a wash. Bob Melvin had the edge over Dave Roberts, and he won. I thought Snicker had the edge over Rob Thompson. That turned out to be false, as the Phillies ended up winning. And then the other one was I said Dusty over Scott Servais. That turned out to be true as well. Servais was probably the worst manager of the first round of the playoffs, although you could argue Boone, you could argue Roberts, and you could argue Tito from their performances and their decision-making. But I thought the best manager of round one was probably Bob Melvin. So, in terms of a pick for this Astros-Yankees series, I'm going to go... I know I probably tipped my hand a little bit, but I just think Houston's so much better than the Yankees. I think the Yankees might win a game or two. And I think the Yankee crowd is going to bring it. The favorite outcome is Houston in 6 at plus 350. That's where I'm leaning. Astros in 7 is the second favorite outcome at 4-1. Then it's Astros in 5 at plus 440. Then Yankees in 7 at plus 480. Yankees in 6 at 5-1. Yankees in 5 at plus 550, which is, I think, ludicrous. But I'm going to go with Stros in 6. It's the favorite outcome. It's plus 350. I just think the Stros are better than the Yankees, and I just feel that the Stros are the team to beat until proven otherwise. And then tonight's game, you have Jameson Taillon and Justin Verlander. Astros minus 210, Yankees plus 176, over under 7, overs even money, there's minus 120. Yanks plus 1/2 is minus 126. Astros minus 1/2 is plus 105. I'm tempted to pick the over in this game because I think there's a world where the Astros score a lot of runs. But Astros first half results overpriced. So is Astros first half run line. I'm going to go first half total runs over 3.5 at minus 114. I think there's a possibility Astros are up 4-0 or 4-1 in the 5th inning. Because I just think that, I'm not going to say the Yankees throw away the game, but some may speculate that in the first couple innings. So I'll go over 3.5 first half total runs at minus 114, but I think the Astros win game 1. I was tempted to pick their run line, but I didn't because I think I could see a world where the Astros are up 4-0. Yankees make it very interesting late, and ultimately Houston wins by 1. So that's why I didn't pull the trigger there. All right, NBA. We'll go over opening night and look ahead to tonight's games. Celtics over the 76ers, 126-117. Celtics are 1-0, Phillies 0-1. Jason Tatum, 35 points and 12 boards. James Harden, 35.7 assists. He looked like the James Harden of old, but Philly fell short. Warriors over the Lakers, 123-109. I think this game is not as close as even this score indicates. Golden State's 1-0, Lakers 0-1. Stephen Curry had 33 points and 7 assists. LeBron, 31, 14, and 8. Really brought the Lakers back in that game in the fourth quarter a little bit, but that's why I say, to me, that game wasn't really that close. A lot of games tonight. 7 o'clock, you have the Magic and the Pistons. No Joe Harris for Orlando. The Pistons are giving 3.5. Total is 217. I'm going to lay the 3.5 with the Pistons. I think they're poised to have a breakthrough season. This is a big game for them. It's a big game for Orlando, so this could be a swing game in terms of the play-in tournament. Amazingly enough to say in their first games of the season, I'm going to lay the points with the Pistons. Wizards Pacers. And by the way, I project the Pistons by 8, total 216 and 17/20. Wizards Pacers. The Wizards are 1-point favorites, total 226.5. I'm surprised that it's only 1. I have it 3 and 223.5. I'm going to go with the under. I just think it's a lower scoring game than that number indicates. Rockets Hawks. The Hawks are favored by 10 points. The total is 233. I'm going to go with the under. I think that this is an under game, and the reason being is that I think it's a blowout, potentially, and the Rockets just kind of just whatever. 233 is too high. Pelicans Nets. I'm surprised this game's not on ESPN. This game would have been on ESPN had Kevin Durant not requested that trade in the summer. And that's what that that's why this game's not on ESPN. And just they make the schedule in August. They're favored by 3, total 230.5. I project 2 and 222 and 320. So give you the under. I just think it's a lower scoring game than that. Some jitters from Zion and whatnot. Bulls Heat. The Heat are favored by 7 points. The total is 216. I believe it or not, I'm going to go with the over. I project 5.5 and 214 and 19/20. By the way, Hawks. I project Hawks 13, total 226.5. If I didn't mention that earlier. I'm going to go with the over in Bulls Heat. I think 216 is a little low. Like I said, 5.5 and 218 and a 10. So it's close, but I'm going to go with it over. Cavaliers Raptors. These fan bases are having to say, why aren't we on national TV? But this is a great game. Could be determines who's in the play-in and who avoids the play-in. Or home court advantage in the first round. There's some monster games tonight. And there's some monster games yesterday, too. It's Sixers Celtics. So, Cavaliers Raptors. Toronto's a 2-point favorite. Total is 214. I'm appalled that the Raptors are only giving 2 in their home opener. I don't understand it. I understand the Cavs have Donovan Mitchell now. But is there a big injury that we're unaware of on Toronto? I don't think so. I'm going to lay the 2 with the Raptors against the Hornets or the Cavs. I project 5 and 214 and 19/20. ESPN Knicks Grizzlies. Mike Breen, Jeff Van Gundy on the call. So you have John Morant against the Knicks. Memphis is giving 4.5. Total is 226. This line was 6 yesterday. A lot of Knicks money. This to me is reminiscent a little bit of Giants-Titans week 1. It's funny because it's like same cities involved. Or same states. Same cities and states involved with New York and then Tennessee. So, New York City and Tennessee, so that's kind of ironic here. I think the Knicks are potentially live. They are plus 150 to win outright. Do I think they're actually going to win? Probably not. But I have an edge on them. I project 3.5 and 219 and a 10. So I'm going to go with the under in this game. I think the Knicks defense is going to show up and show out like it did 2 years ago. No Triple J for Memphis. That hurts them offensively and defensively too, but I think 226 is high, so I'm going to take the under for my pick for the game, for the podcast. 8 o'clock, Thunder Timberwolves. Minnesota is a 10.5-point favorite. The total is 226. I'm going to lay the points with Minnesota. They're much better than the Thunder. I have Minnesota picked as the 4th seed in the West this year. Big chip on her shoulder. Rudy Gobert in the house now, so I'm going to lay the points with Minnesota. Hornets Spurs. The Spurs are favored by 1, total 224. And by the way, I project Minnesota 16.5, total 222 and a 10th. So Spurs are 1-point favorites, total 24. Thank God I don't have to bet on the tanking team. Give me the over. I project 5 and 228 and 3/20. LaMelo Ball's out for this game. And you got to wonder if this is the first fake injury of the year against another team that's tanking. Oh, my God. I don't think it's a fake injury. But, you know, the jokes are going to be about it if the Spurs win this game. So, I'm going to take the over in this game between the Spurs and the Hornets. Nuggets Jazz. Denver's a 7-point road favorite. Total is 225.5. I have to fix something here because I typed in the wrong number in terms of a projection. I projected Nuggets by 15, total 221 and 3/4. I love the Nuggets. I'm laying the 7. I know the altitude. Jokic is just going to dominate in this game. I love it. I'm going to lay the 7 with Denver against Utah. I had the number 21 written down in favor of the Jazz, but I knew that was a typo. The Nuggets would have been 21-point home favorite projections had this game being played in Denver. Next up, on ESPN, you have the Mavericks and the Suns at 10 o'clock. Dave Pasch, Mark Jackson, probably, right? The Suns are giving 4.5. Total is 216.5. So, Western Conference semifinals rematch. This is where my projections are the closest. I'm going to go with a slight lean to the Mavs. I project Suns 3.5, total 216 and 19/20. And last but not least, you have the Trailblazers against the Kings. The Kings are 2-point home favorites, total 229.5. I'm laying the 2 at Sacramento. I think this is a big game for them, too. This is another swing game in terms of playing versus tanking or playing versus no playoffs or whatever. I could say that about a couple games tonight. Trailblazers, Kings, Cavs, Raptors, even Bulls, Heat potentially. Magic, Pistons. And then the out-of-conference big games, I'd say, are Pelicans, Nets, or interconference. So Pelicans, Nets, and Knicks, Grizzlies are the other two that jump out to me. And for this one, I'm going to lay it to Sacramento. Sabonis and Fox will lead the way. So give me the Sacramento Kings minus the 2. And if, like hockey, if I had to call for an outright upset of somebody, I'd go with the Dallas Mavericks at plus 156 over the Suns would be like my underdog money line pick of the day in the NBA. Now I'll move on to the NHL. We'll go over the results from the games yesterday and look ahead to the games today. Blue Jackets over to Canucks 4-3 in overtime on a game winner by Vladislav Gavrikov. Columbus is 1-3. Vancouver is 0-3-1. Devils over the Ducks 4-2. The Devils are 1-2. Anaheim is 1-3. Senators over the Bruins 7-5. Ottawa is 1-2. Boston is 3-1. Flyers upset the Lightning 3-2. The Flyers, wow, 3-0. Tampa is 1-3. Yikes. Islanders over the Sharks 5-2. The Isles are 2-1. San Jose is 0-5. That might be the worst team in the league. Flames over the Golden Knights 3-2. That was a great game. Calgary 3-0. Vegas 3-1. Sabres over the Oilers 4-2. That's an upset. Buffalo 2-1. Edmonton 1-2. And the Kings over the Predators 4-3 in a shootout. LA's 3-2 and Nashville is 2-1. All right, only 3 games tonight. 7:30 TNT of the Flyers and the Panthers. Flyers undefeated going on the line tonight. You would think this is Kenny Albert and Eddie Olczyk's game. The Panthers are minus 335. The Flyers are plus 265. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 112. Unders minus 110. Flyers plus 1.5 is plus 114. Panthers minus 1.5 is minus 140. Aaron Ekblad was just lost due to an injury. That's not great for Florida. I like the over in this game. I think there's going to be a lot of goals. Jets Avalanche. Avs are minus 215. Jets are plus 176. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 118. Unders minus 104. Jets plus 1.5 is minus 140. Avs minus 1.5 is plus 114. I like the over a lot in this game. Over 6.5 minus 118. And 10 o'clock TNT Blues Kraken. This is probably Brendan Burke and Darren Pang. Blues minus 125. Kraken plus 102. Over under 6. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Blues minus 1.5 is plus 190. Kraken plus 1.5 is minus 240. I like the under in this game. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than people may expect. If I had an outright money line pick of the week or of the day today, I kind of think all 3 favorites win. But the Flyers have the most value. They're undefeated. And they're plus 265. So if I had to pick an underdog to win, I would begrudgingly pick the Flyers. All right, we have college football tonight. Only one game. It is a Sun Belt game. And it is between Georgia State and Appalachian State, 7:30 on ESPN2. So App State's a 9.5-point favorite, total 59.5. I'm going to take Georgia State getting all the points. I just think that Appalachian State hasn't been the Appalachian State of old. So I'm taking Georgia State in the points. I project 3.5 and 63 and 11/20. So if I did a same game, Georgia State spread and over would be a fun play. But I'm going to go Georgia State plus 9.5 for the podcast play. All right, Major League Soccer playoffs. I don't think we went over Monday's results, so I'm going to do that. No, I did not. So NYCFC over Miami 3-0. So good on NYCFC for getting the big win. This was scoreless through the first half, and then Gabriel Pereira scores the first goal of the game in the 63rd minute to put NYCFC up 1-0. Then Maxi Morales in the 69th minute makes it 2-0. And then Herber in the 92nd minute makes it 3-0 for NYCFC as they get the win at Citi Field. Dallas and Minnesota 1-1 draw in regular time. Then they go to kicks, and FC Dallas advances. First goal of the game was by Minnesota by Emmanuel Reynoso in the 53rd minute to make it 1-0. Then Facundo Quignon in the 64th minute makes it a 1-1 game. And then they go to kicks. Minnesota went first. First kick was good by Emmanuel Reynoso. Then Franco Jara kicks for Dallas, 1-1 in the shootout. Then Will Trapp misses. Sebastian Leggett makes, and then Minnesota, Kevin Arriaga, Kervin Arriaga makes. Then Dallas, Matt Hedges makes. Minnesota, Alan Benitez makes. Then Dallas, Jesus Ferreira makes. And then Mender Garcia makes. And then Alan Velasco puts it away and makes. And Dallas advances to the Western semis, as they'll play on Sunday. All right. And then Thursday, there's 2 games, which we'll get to on tomorrow's podcast. It's Cincy, Philly, and the Battle of LA, which is going to be a lot of fun. All right, now I'll move on to golf. We have yet another tournament to discuss. And it is the CJ Cup from Congaree Golf Club in South Carolina. So, tee times of notable golfers. 8:15, Aaron Weiss, Kirsten Ziedenhout. 8:27, Brendan Steele, Emiliano Grillo. 8:39, Wyndham Clark, Scott Stallings. 8:51, Corey Connors, Dylan McCarthy, and Danny Willett. 9:03, Trey Merritt, Adam Hadwin, Adam Putnam. 9:15, Trey Mullinax, Taylor Hogue, and Lucas Glover. 9:27, Ches Ravid, Gary Woodland, Brendan Todd. 9:39, Shane Lowry, Jason Day, Matt Fitzpatrick. 9:51, Saiwoo Kim, Sam Burns, Victor Hovland. 10:08, John Rahm, Justin Thomas, Keegan Bradley. 10:20, Ricky Fowler, Rory McIlroy. 10:32, Tommy Fleetwood, Maverick McNeely. 10:44, Taylor Moore, Mito Pereira. 10:56, Lucas Hodges. 11:08, Chris Kirksey, Thiglia. 11:20, Davis Riley, Alex Loren, and Ryan Henley. 11:32, Ryan Palmer, Brian Harmon, Keith Mitchell. 11:44, J.J. Spawn, Matt Kuchar, Harry English. 12:01, Tyrell Hatton, Luke List, J.T. Potson. 12:13, Sebastian Munoz, Seamus Power, Kang-Hoo Lee. 12:25, Cam Davis, Seth Straka, and Webb Simpson. 12:37, Colin Morikawa, Brett Horschel, and Kevin Kisner. 12:49, Cam Young, Sanjay M, Scotty Scheffler. 1:01, Max Homa, Jordan Spieth, Hideki Matsuyama. 1:13, Alex Smalley, Sang-Hoo Kim. 1:25, Kurt Katayama. And that's it among notables. For a pick for this tournament, I am going to go with somebody that has some decent odds. And someone who has come so close, and I think is a good spot for him. I'm going to go with Victor Hovland at 24-1 to win the CJ Cup. All right, reality TV time. We'll start with Dancing with the Stars. We will go over last night's episode. It was night 2, prom night of the Star Stories week. Due to Selma Blair's withdrawal, the judges' scores and viewers' votes from the 2 nights were combined. And each couple danced one unlearned dance recalling their high school prom nights and a dance marathon to the hustle and the Lindy Hop for bonus points. Daniel and Britt did a cha-cha-cha to Sexy Back by Justin Timberlake featuring Timbaland and got a 32. Heidi and Artem did a jazz to Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper and got a 33. Vinny and Coco did a Finette's Waltz to You and Me by Lifehouse and got a 28. Shangela and Gleb did a cha-cha-cha to Waiting for Tonight by Jennifer Lopez and got a 35. Charlie and Mark did a jive to You Make My Dreams by Hall & Oates and got a 38. Jesse and Alan did a Finette's Waltz to Breakaway by Kelly Clarkson and got a 32. Gabby and Val did a tango to Good Girls Go Bad by Corba Starstrip and got a perfect score of a 40. Trevor and Emma did a jive dance to Basket Case by Green Day and got a 32. Joseph and Daniela did a cha-cha-cha to Shut Up and Dance by Walk the Moon and got a 32. Jordan and Brandon did a contemporary to No Air by Jordan Sparks and Chris Brown and got a 35. And Wayne and Whitney did a samba to It Takes Two by Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock and got a perfect score of a 40. And all the couples did a Hustle and Lindy Hop marathon to Hot Stuff by Donna Summer and Jump Jive and Wail by the Brian Setzer Orchestra, which was pretty cool. So the bottom two were Heidi and Artem and Joseph and Daniela. So each judge actually voted, because usually Len doesn't vote, but Len voted this time. Derek voted Heidi and Artem. Carrie Ann voted Joseph and Daniela. Bruno voted Heidi and Artem. And Len voted Heidi and Artem. And ultimately, Joseph and Daniela go home. That's unfortunate for them. I didn't think their dance was bad. I thought Jesse and Alan should have went home. I thought had the worst performance. Although Vinny and Coco did not have a good performance yet again, and they continue to be in this competition. So Trevor and Emma go home. And next week is Michael Bublé night, which is going to be very interesting, to say the least. Now we'll do Masked Singer very quickly. Obviously, last week's didn't happen because the Phillies-Braves game got rained out, so it's the Lloyd Webber night, which is going to be very interesting. There's 3 new characters, which is going to be a ton of fun. We talked about 2 weeks ago's episode on last Wednesday's podcast, so we really don't have to get into full detail of it. But obviously, the Harps into the semifinal. So there's 3 in this week's episode. So I wonder if, so they'll unmask 2, then 1 survives, and then they bring in a couple more. So that's going to be a pretty interesting thing to see. There's some interesting characters too. There's like some sort of flower costume. I feel like there's a lot of female contestants in tonight's episode. And I think everybody that's been unmasked so far has been males, if I'm not mistaken. Episode 3 was all men. Yeah. All men have been unmasked so far. So I feel like we're going to see some female contestants tonight. So that's good. All right, Survivor. Tonight's going to be a very interesting show. I correctly predicted on the podcast last week that Coco would finally go to Tribal Council. And Lindsay was the contestant that got voted out. I thought it was potentially going to be Cassidy before the show, just the gut feeling, but it ended up being Lindsay. And I talked about on Thursday's podcast last week how Lindsay pretty much shot herself in the foot, and it cost her it cost her. So Vesey has 4, Coco has 5, and Baca has 5. I think Baca is due to go to tribal council. Although I wouldn't be shocked if Coco's back again. But I'm going to say Baca goes to tribal council this time. And if I had to guess who gets voted out, I got to admit I'm not a big fan of Gabler. He reminds me a lot of Jonathan from Survivor 42. I know some people might compare him to Mike from season 42, but because both their names are Mike and they're both older. But I think that Gabler's like a tough guy and kind of reminds me of Jonathan from Survivor 42. But I think Gabler is going to stick around, as will Sammy. And it's down to Ellie, Jenny, and Owen. And obviously the first episode, Mariah got voted out. And I think that Owen could be on the chopping block a little bit. And if you notice, it's been all females out the first 4 episodes. So that is a little bizarre. And we're getting closer to the merge, which is crazy already. So, gut feeling, I'm going to say Baca goes to tribal council. I'm going to say Vesey wins immunity again. And I'm going to say that Owen's the one on the chopping block and ultimately voted out of Survivor 43. That's my guess. All right, news and notes for today. Today's been a busier show than I anticipated it to be because we did so much baseball. We'll start with baseball, actually. There's some talk that Aaron Judge, after he kissed the logo, a lot of people are like, oh, he's going to be back. He's going to be back. But we'll see. But he explains that the viral logo kiss moment after the home run was inspired by EPL. Gleyber Torres had a savage quote. As revenge was only fair for Naylor's disrespectful celebration, now they can watch on TV. And then the fans were taunting Naylor too, which was amazing. Wandy Peralta says he's good to go tomorrow or today after becoming the first player to pitch in 5 games of a division series. That's crazy. That guy's been money for the Yankees in the playoffs. And then we talked about the diving play by Anthony Rizzo and how the runner ended up ultimately being safe, although Tito didn't challenge. Mets catcher Francisco Alvarez has surgery as he underwent right ankle surgery to address loose body, as they expect him to be back for spring training. We'll talk football now. Jerry Jones called out Robert Kraft as Jerry Jones told him, don't mess with me. Or no, don't F with me during heated exchange in an owners-only meeting. Yikes. Those two don't like each other. Dan Snyder pens a letter to the owners and denies allegations against him in the Washington Commanders organization in a letter to the owners. I mean, let's be honest. How real is that? And then a Commander spokesperson said there's no reason for the Snyders to sell the team, and they won't. Oof. And then Colts owner Jim Irsay says that Dan Snyder can be voted out as there's merit to removing Snyder and 24 potential votes needed him from other owners may exist. Wow. That would be something. That would be the story of the year. The Ravens signed veteran receiver Deshaun Jackson. That, I think, will help them offensively. Melvin Gordon liked a bunch of tweets as he seems ready for a change of scenery after his benching on Monday Night Football. We'll see what they do with him. And they're 2-4. So maybe they do trade him. The NFL will have a Black Friday game in 2023 as Amazon will exclusively stream NFL's first ever Black Friday game next year on November 24th at 3 o'clock. So that's interesting. So it's going to be 3 Thanksgiving games, a Black Friday game, which would be pretty cool. So now the NHL has their big game on national TV, and then now the NFL's going to do it, and then NBA doesn't have any quote-unquote special games because ESPN has control over college football and college basketball on Black Friday. So they don't really have NBA unless if TNT was willing to do something. But I think TNT is involved in the hockey national TV this year. I think ABC is not. Executives now believe that Odell Beckham Jr.'s realistic time frame to come back is December. So that's crazy. Russell Wilson considered day-to-day as he is pushing through the injury, and Broncos will evaluate progress this week on his hamstring. Chris Olave says he is cleared concussion protocol and plans to play tomorrow night against the Cardinals. Broncos linebacker Aaron Patrick tore his ACL. So that's the 5th Broncos player to tear his ACL this year. That is absolutely brutal. It's him. It's Javonte Williams, Tim Patrick, and then 2 others. Oh, Garrett Bowles. Wow. Bills quiet on Christian McCaffrey trade as they are more in a monitoring mode than actively pursuing CMC as of now. The Packers are running a wide receiver trade as they are certain Green Bay is looking to give Rodgers some help ahead of the trade deadline. That's not surprising. Stephen Curry shouts out Brittany Griner as he uses ring ceremony speech to shine light on Brittany Griner on her 32nd birthday, which was yesterday. That was really, really, really cool. The Warriors' whole ring ceremony was actually pretty cool. And then Knicks guard Quentin Grimes will not suit up for the opener against the Grizzlies due to a foot injury. And that's not good for New York from a depth standpoint. All right, last but not least, best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. There was one that jumped out at me. It was in the NBA. And that game is the Denver Nuggets laying the 7 at Utah. Utah's tanking. We all know that. It's the worst kept secret in the NBA. Give me the Nuggets minus the 7 points. I'm going to lay a fifth of a unit on it with Denver. Minus the 7 against Utah. All right, that's it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything, looking ahead to everything tomorrow. We have Thursday Night Football tomorrow, Major League Soccer semifinals tomorrow as well, news and notes, and best bet. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.